Okay. Hi guys. So, um, in my previous video that I uploaded to YouTube, I told everyone that I most likely wouldn't be making another video until I got basically like a webcam or a better camera to hook up to my computer. But I do have a new phone, so the resolution and the quality and whatnot and the lighting hopefully should be a little bit better. As well as the sound quality of the video. Hope so. Excuse the mess behind me. I don't necessarily have you know, a recording studio there. It's a little better centered now. Um, yeah, I don't have a recording studio. I'm just recording in my office where I work at my computer. That's another computer that someone else uses behind me. I got my computer up above. My screen, my monitor is up above here, but um, so I just wanted to make this video for anybody who's interested. If any of you have been following the SSP, SSP, or which is the abbreviation, and that's my cat meowing at me. Hi, baby. Hi. Um, the secret space program. Okay. I'm sure some of you have seen other videos on YouTube. There's a lot of different truthers out here that are coming forward either with information about the program that they have discovered through declassified documentation that has been declassified by the Pentagon, or the other elements of the military industrial complex that basically have the power to redact information, declassify information, and keep it from the public. So the powers that be, the powers that be have declassified some material on the area of extraterrestrial contact. It is out there online. An incredibly good guy you guys should go watch. His name is Dr. Michael Salla. Okay, his channel is just called Michael Salla, but he goes by Dr. Michael Salla, I believe, because he has a PhD. The guy is like a scholar. Excuse me, I got something in my eye. Michael Salla is unbelievable. The guy is like a historian. He's a scholar. You can go on his channel and you can see he gives you learn a little bit about his past education and his past background, in terms of he basically went to other countries, and he basically did he was involved in basically international diplomatic activity is basically what I gather from some of his videos where he's talked about it. But anyways, that's one guy you really should check out. Another amazing, wonderful lady, her name is Elena Denon. She makes a lot of videos. She is an extraterrestrial contactee. So, like I said, there's a lot of them out there that are a lot of truthers that are making videos, like Michael Salla. He is not a contactee that I've heard him say. Michael, if you see this, I apologize, but I don't recall you saying you're a contactee, so I apologize if I have that wrong. But anyways, so Michael Salla is just an extremely educated, extremely intelligent guy, and he knows a lot about this area. He's all into documentation. He has massive amounts of information and official documentation on his website that are such as like official declassified government documents and whatnot. And then you have people like Elena Denon, who are actual contactees, and not only have they been contacted in the past, but they are currently being contacted regularly, and they have actual physical involvement in the now with extraterrestrial civilizations. So just kind of a little bit of a preface before I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I recently had some suppressed memories come back to me, and I'm still recovering this. So I have to give a lot of credit to a really beautiful, wonderful lady, and her name's Rebecca Rose. And I was watching one of her videos. She is another, human being just like me who has been involved in a secret space program. Um, uh, right at this moment, I'm not ready to quite give my full name on my YouTube channel. If you are somebody, I don't know a lot of people, I don't have a huge amount of friends in real life. So if you do know who I am and you're watching this video, I would appreciate if you didn't put my name in the comment section. If you do, oh well. It's not like I haven't signed any NDAs. I'm not violating any law or any contractual agreement or anything, at least that I'm aware of. So I'm just, I'm kind of just one of those guys who's recently learned of this about themselves. And so going back to what I was saying, I watched 2 of Rebecca Rose's videos, and you can find her YouTube channel. She goes by Sirius Blue. I believe it's Rebecca Rose Sirius Blue, like Sirius the star system, like SSIR IUS, I believe, like Sirius A, Sirius B, the star system of Sirius. It's spelt like that. And her YouTube channel is called Sirius Blue, like the color blue, Rebecca Rose, I believe. You'll just look up Sirius Blue and you should find her. So anyways, I was watching 2 of Rebecca's videos to begin with. Something happened, and this was about 3, maybe 4 months ago. I'm kind of foggy on that part. I can't remember exactly. 3 to 4 months ago, I was watching one of her videos, and I felt this connection. I couldn't explain why I felt so connected to her. It was when I was watching a video that she was describing the psychic abilities of the Draco reptilians. They have an ability to essentially look you in the eye and put you into a holographic reality. They can get in your mind, and they can, which is why it's so hard to fight them physically, because in order to fight them physically, you have to be able to repel this. You have to have, and not only do they have their own natural psychic ability as themselves spiritual beings, that they inhabit those Draco reptilian bodies, they also have cranially implanted technology. And this is just what I remember. If anybody else, any of you other SSP members, people out there who've been in these programs can corroborate that, I would be very grateful, because these memories that have come back to me are very recent, and I'm still kind of coming to grips with it. And I apologize if you know of the program I'm talking about, if anybody happens to, and I'm saying anything incorrect. I'm just trying to be honest here, and I'm just trying to go off my own memories. I'm trying to be as honest and from my heart, as much as I can. So I'm not trying to attract any attention. I'm not trying to make anyone feel like I'm better than them or worse than them or anything like that. I'm just trying to get this information out, because many people, such as Elena Denon and many others, have basically made videos and talking about how this is the time for all of us to come forward. All of us who've been in these programs and have had our memories temporarily suppressed, and we just totally forget. You could have lived in it. Some of you watching this who don't know anything about this subject, you could have lived 20, 40, 60 years. It's called a 20 and back. I don't recall being in that exact program, the 20 and back program that was basically orchestrated and created by, as far as if I have it right, that was created by the human, like the Cabal originally. That was created by the human militaries of Earth, created a secret space program. And my understanding, based on various videos. I've been researching this and just watching a lot of people like Elena Denon and Michael Sala. And my understanding is that this 20 and back program, where basically somebody is taken at a young age, sometimes as young as 3 or 4. I was taken at 3. I was taken at 3 years old, and they're taken. They're taken somewhere else. In my case, there was time travel involved before I did my involvement in this program. So that's a whole other can of worms, and I'll get more into that later, and maybe in another video. But I just kind of want to get everybody in, in the know and introduced basically to what I experienced and the memories that have come back to me. So anyways, that's how these 20 and back programs work. You're taken, and you are you live out your life for 20 years in the body that you are taken in, and you are essentially doing a tour of duty, in a space program, in a military, or it doesn't necessarily always have to be combat. You can be recruited as a I don't know if you have a background, or well, I guess you wouldn't have a background if you're 3 years old, but if you have aptitudes for certain things, they might put you in something that's non-combat. But most of the people who I've heard do 20 and backs, it has to do with super soldier programs and all kinds of crazy stuff like that, far out, higher technology type combat type things. So anyways, I'm just saying I was not in that program, not exactly, because I was taken by, thankfully, I've heard some of the stories by people, such as I think his name's Tony Rodriguez, if I remember correctly. He's another person who's been through a space program, and him and Rebecca Rose have been through pretty negative programs. That's all I'm going to say. If you want to learn more about their history in these programs, you should go to their YouTube channels. And I think his name's Tony Rodriguez. I'm trying to keep sometimes I'm bad with names, so I apologize, but I know Rebecca Rose is the other one. So go to their channels. You'll see what I'm talking about. They've told their stories. They went through hell. They went through pretty traumatic, horrible experiences, and they were taken by the bad guys. I'll just say they were taken by the bad guys. I was taken by 100% benevolent, heart-centered extraterrestrials. I was taken by a very tall, this is what I remember, a very tall, very thin, light blue extraterrestrial. She wore, and I just say she because the males and the females of this particular species that I remember is that they were both about the same size. They were both very tall, very thin. So I'm assuming maybe they're native to a lower gravity planet. That's just my assumption based on what I've learned about this area and how bodies develop on various planets and whatnot. And they were very tall and light blue, and they were totally hairless. Nothing on their head, nothing on their face, nothing anywhere on their body that I could see, right? They obviously wore clothes. They weren't naked. But what I could see, they were totally hairless, and they wore very, very loose-fitting robes that were, the best thing I can compare it to that you guys would understand is Jedi robes. Okay, if you guys have seen Star Wars, you see the Jedi robes and how loose-fitting they are. You could put your hand underneath your sleeve and lift it up about this far. That's how loose-fitting their robes are. So all over their body, very loose-fitting, and that's how they dressed, at least these ones. I don't know if all members of that species dress the same. These are just the ones that I was in contact with that I remember. And so very, very tall, very thin, and very, very gentle, very kind and telepathic, and they're very gentle in their telepathic communication. They're non-intrusive. They They're just very, very gentle mannered in the way they carry themselves and the way they communicate. Um, so I was taken by a female, and I say female only because like you can't tell physically them apart. At least I couldn't. With this particular species, this particular entity, her presence just felt like a mother, and I think that was, looking back in time, I think that was on purpose because I was only 3 years old, and from what I recall, she ended up raising me. Okay, I was on board a really large space station with maybe hundreds of thousands of other children, and I would say maybe 20 to 30% of those children were human, the rest were not, and this was basically like a giant interstellar nursery, and these children were taken from, I'm assuming, I have no idea. All I know is what it looked like to me was they were taken from wherever they were taken, and they were being educated. It was basically like a boarding school. We were taught history, mathematics, sciences, real history of this solar system. I don't remember a lot of that. I'm sorry. Some people might say, well, like, if you got taught all this, how come you don't remember? Do you remember what you were taught? I don't. I'm sorry. These memories are just brand new for me. Like I said, I only first discovered this about myself about 3 to 4 months ago. So I'm just doing the best I can. I hope this interests anybody who's watching it. So I was abducted, but I wasn't conscious during the time. It must have been in my sleep. All I remember is I was 3 years old. I went to bed one night at home where I lived with my mom and my brother, and I woke up somewhere else. And when I woke up, I was disoriented, I was scared, I was angry, and I was, lashing out and screaming. This is just what I remember. Specifically, when someone entered the room that looked unfamiliar to me, I screamed at them and was crying, and, I was 3 years old. She came up to me and she knelt down, and she, I think, put her hand on my shoulder or on one of my arms. I was laying down, kind of in a bed on this craft, and I woke up and I was kind of partially sitting up, like how you're sitting up in the bed, and the surface of the bed is over there, and you're kind of holding yourself up, kind of partially propped up, propping yourself up, laying on your side. So I was like in that position, and she came up and she on the other side that wasn't against the bed, she put her hand on me, and I just remember when she put her hand on me, all the tension left my body. These beings are so powerful. I just remember all the stress, all the tension, all the anxiety, all the, being scared and in an unfamiliar place. I totally stopped crying. I didn't know why. I just looked to her, and I think she tried to speak to me telepathically, but of course I wasn't used to that because I'm a human and I was born on Earth in this body, in this vessel. And so she apologized to me, and then she started to speak aloud, and she said, I'll do my, I think it was basically she wasn't really used to speaking aloud. They had a mouth, the species, they had a mouth and they had vocal cords. They just, I guess they just evolved to the point where they normally didn't use them unless they had to. So she did speak to me, but she said she apologized if it came across as a little bit incoherent. She was trying, and she said it was a bit difficult because she wasn't used to speaking telepathically. So that's just one detail. That's the first moment that I remember being on this space program. So I'm just going to leave it at that for now in terms of detail. Okay, I'll give you guys more detail in other videos, but I just kind of want to get you guys a flavor of what I remember. Basically, what I remember is I was put through a lot of different tests, and basically all the children who were taken to this location, this interstellar nursery, I guess you could call it, or interplanetary nursery for our solar system. I don't know. It could just be for our solar system. God knows how many different species live in our solar system alone that we don't know about. I mean, you guys will be surprised. I'm pretty sure I'll be surprised when I'm out there again. But children in this that lived here, we were all being raised. We all had guardians that were assigned to us. This female tall blue alien was assigned to me. She was my mother figure while I was there. At the age of 16, this part I've gone over it before with other people, and it's just a little bit emotional, but I had to say goodbye to her. And she was like my mom, at least at this time. I have a mom here, on Earth, but when I was taken to that place, she was my mom. She was my acting mom. And when I turned 16, in that time, she came up to me one day and she knelt down, and I could tell she didn't. I thought something was wrong because she seemed sad. And she put her hand on my shoulder and she said, "It's time for you to go to work." And I cried, and it was bad, and I had to say goodbye to her because she had to stay there. She had to take care of the next child. She had to keep doing her job. She had to keep doing her job, and I was at the age where it was time for me to do my job. And after that point, I was transferred to a new space station, much smaller, but still large. And I spent the next 10 to 12 years on this new space station. And I never saw her again. When I came to the space station, I was told that there was going to be 2 steps. There was going to be 2 programs I was going to participate in. I wasn't told what the second one was, because this is all in the name of military compartmentalization. The first program I was chosen for was a psychic warfare program. Now, let me repeat myself what I told you guys earlier. This was not a human program. This was not a human secret space program. This was a purely benevolent extraterrestrial program. These are the good ETs. These are the good guys. What I remember is I was taken at 3 years old, and I time traveled. I don't know. Don't ask me, guys. If you're going to ask me in the comments if I understand how time travel works, I have no idea. I am still coming to grips with this. I have no clue. It makes no sense to me, because it would mean I'm overlapping with a previous lifetime, or I'm overlapping with this lifetime that I'm living right now in this body, or in the same body. That was the same body. But when I was taken at 3, it was this body when I was 3 years old. And when I was done with this program, I was age regressed back to 3 years old, and I was taken back to the moment I was taken, to restore to restore the organic timeline, the unaltered timeline. So I was sent back to the moment I was taken as if it never happened. So when I was first taken at 3, I found out later that I had traveled. I was taken back to 1963, which would mean I was overlapping in this body with the previous lifetime I had lived, because I was born into this body in 1988. I was born in 1988 in this body. Okay. I was taken back in this body at 3 years old to 1963. And the only reason I know that is by extrapolation of information. Because first thing I remembered, before remembering that, I remembered that I turned 16 in 1976 in this body. Again, this is after I time traveled. I then grew from 3 years old. I was 3 years old, taken back to 1963, and then in 1976 I turned 16. Again, I don't understand time travel. I don't understand any of this. I don't understand the physics or anything of it. I'm not a physicist. I have no background in that area in this lifetime. I'm just a regular guy. I do accounting. That's what I do for a living now. I do accounting. I do bookkeeping. So I don't have, I don't understand this. So I apologize if you guys want more information about this. I don't understand it myself. I'm just trying to tell you what I remember. So anyways, I was taken at 16 and I was put into this psychic warfare program. It was going to be a squad. I later ended up learning it was going to be a squad of 8, very small squad. We were going to be trained as space pilots, which I did, trained to be a space pilot, pilot a small fighter type spacecraft. I almost said aircraft, but it's not. It's a spacecraft. Aircraft means it uses aerodynamics because it goes through the air. Well, there's no air in space, so it's not an aircraft. But so our missions, and I say missions plural because we engaged in pretty much nonstop missions for 10 to 12 years, as I said earlier. I lived on this space station. I lived there, I ate there, I went to the bathroom there, I slept there. My life was that space station for 10 to 12 years. And everything was extremely disciplined. I've never been in the military before. I've never been in any Earth military, to be clear. This was a military environment, an extraterrestrial military environment. And our goal was there was a particular rank. The Draco reptilians, they have their own hierarchy of ranks. Again, this is just what I remember. If anybody can corroborate any of this, I would appreciate it. If not, maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think I'm crazy? You probably do. But this is just what I remember. Again, I don't care about attention. I don't care how many people see this video. I mean, I do. I care about people seeing this video if it helps them remember their own memories. Like the way Rebecca Rose, what she did for me, I watched her videos and it triggered my memories. So if I can do that for someone else, that's the only reason I care about views. Okay, so if you know of anybody, or if you think you might have been in a secret space program, listen very carefully to the details that I give. Okay, so for 10 to 12 years, I lived, ate, breathed, went to the bathroom, slept, everything. My whole life was on this space station. The only time we ever left it was in a squad of 8, and there was 8 of us. I was the only human on this spaceship, this station, I guess. It was I guess I wouldn't call it a ship, I would call it a station, space station, because I remember being able to look out a window, and we were always, from what I recall, we were always orbiting the same celestial body. We did missions where, okay, back to the Draco hierarchy. What I remember, I apologize if it's wrong to someone. What I remember is that there is a particular rank of Draco reptilian that was physically present in this solar system. So You have the entire Draco hierarchy of their entire civilization. And the highest ranking rank of Draco that was physically present in this solar system, whatever that was, all I was told is that those were our targets. Okay? Because the Draco, they rule over each other. They rule over one another with absolute zero empathy. They don't care about their underlings. They rule with complete disregard for the safety or well-being of those they command. And they use their telepathic power to suppress and intimidate those that they serve. Those that serve them. So I'm not saying these were the highest ranking Draco in the whole Draco civilization. I'm just telling you that this was the highest ranking Draco that was physically present in our solar system at that time. Okay? Because they were essentially the Draco masters of this solar system. So they had all of the knowledge. They had all of the strategical knowledge of the Draco in this solar system. Now, the ship I was on, the space station I was on, was one of many, I was told. There were many of these space stations that had the exact same function as the one I was on. Our job was to capture these Draco and imprison them. And we were at the time we weren't told why. Later, I found out it was for interrogation purposes, because these Draco have extremely valuable tactical knowledge, or I should say had. They had, because this was way back in time, they had extremely high value tactical knowledge of all Draco operations in this solar system. The reason why it was a psychic warfare program, I mentioned that earlier, the psychic warfare program. That's just what I call it. These Draco were the most powerfully psychic Dracos in the solar system. You could not fight them physically unless you first subdued them mentally and spiritually. They were too powerful, and if you tried to fight them physically when you weren't prepared to repel their psychic attack against you, they would put you into a holographic reality where you feel like your arms are being ripped off or you're being burned alive, and there's nothing you can do about it. So we had to learn how to adapt. We had to be prepared for that. And in these encounters, it was out in space. We were in very small attack craft. They were actually stealth craft, because this was a highly specialized operation. It was not general purpose combat. It was, later I found out it was for intelligence gathering purposes, for interrogation of these high value VIP Dracos. So our job, we were a squad of eight soldiers, special operation soldiers. We were to locate these Draco of this particular rank. We were to surround them, all 8 of us. It was normally 8 against 1, because they were extremely proud. They had never been challenged before. Their security was relatively light, because these Draco, these guys were such powerful psychics that if you got anywhere near them, even in a ship, anywhere, if they were on a space station or a ship themselves, and you approached that ship, they would almost instantly know you were coming before you would even see them, because they could sense you. They could sense your spiritual presence using their own psychic ability. They sensed that you were coming. They could read your mind. They scanned you mentally and spiritually. And so we had to learn how to mask our spiritual essence, our aura, We learned from various ETs. We learned from another blue ET. I met another. There was another blue ET that was the same as the one who raised me, a different one, but the same species. And he was the grand master of this program for this ship that I was on. He taught us how to do this. We all had aptitude. That's why we were in this program. We had aptitude for this particular type of work. And they told me later that that's why I was chosen, because we all, all human beings and all other beings that are from other civilizations have their strengths and weaknesses. We're all different. So this was just what I had an aptitude for, as well as the other 8 beings that I served with. None of them were human. I was the only human on this entire ship, and that I lived and worked on. So during these encounters with these Draco, these particular ranked Draco, the 8 of us, we had extremely high stealth technology in our suits, our exosuits. I wouldn't say exosuits. I would say environmental protection suits. They were like onesies. They would just zip up, and I don't think they zipped up, but it's hard to remember all that. But they were all environmental protection suits, and we had a metallic device that was like a helmet that went over like almost like a gyrosphere, like a half gyrosphere, but it didn't turn like a gyrosphere. It didn't spin or anything, but it was like metal prong and then metal prong, and it was an enhancement technology that basically allowed us. It did the same thing for us as the cranially implanted technology that the Draco used. They have actual technology that's implanted in their brains that enhances their own already powerful psychic abilities. Okay, again, this is just what I remember. This is what I was told. I hope I can get some corroboration on some of this. I hope so, from someone who's been in a program or knows anything about this program. This technology that we wore around our heads, like a partially helmet that didn't cover the whole head, but it was like prongs that went to the sides and to the front and back. These partial helmets that we wore allowed us to fight these Draco psychically on a level playing field. That's what they did. So the technological psychic advantage that they had over us using their enhancement technology was negated by these helmets that we wore. That's what I remember. So essentially it put us on a level playing field technologically. So then it came down to truly me, the spiritual being, against that Draco in a psychic arm wrestle, I guess. I don't know. It was a psychic confrontation, and there was 8 of us. So it was me and the 7 others. We all had to psychically subdue this Draco so that we could then capture him physically and bring him back to the ship, where he would be imprisoned in a psychic hampering chamber. He would be in a prison cell that doubled it. It basically hampered him psychically, so he couldn't reach out to his buddies and inform them where he was being held, and then they go blow up the ship. So that was it. That was the operations. So this video is probably going to get kind of long, and if you guys don't know who I am, then you probably lose interest. I mean, I don't know, maybe. I'm not trying to be facetious or anything, but sometimes when someone's not well known, you're less inclined to watch a really long video by them. I hope you guys find this entertaining. I hope it helps you see that there's more to all of us. There's more to all of us in the human race, you guys. There's more to us than they let on, than the powers that be have told us. There's more to the human civilization than you've been told. And many of you that are watching this right now could very well have had experiences in a space program. You could have, and you wouldn't know, because I'm now 30 something years old. I'm not going to give you my exact age just for now, just because I don't feel like it. But I'm in my 30s, my early 30s, and because, well, you know my age because I told you I was born in 1988, so go figure. So you know how old I am. But I just now discovered this, guys. 3 to 4 months ago, maybe 5, I can't remember exactly. Sometimes I'm foggy on dates. Maybe it has to do with the fact that my memory got temporarily wiped of this entire program that I was in, and I didn't remember it until recently. So I guess I'm going to end the video here. I'll make another one later. I guess I'll keep using my cell phone for now because I have a new cell phone and it's much higher quality, I assume. I had a Galaxy S7 and now I have a Galaxy S10e, or S10 Edge or whatever it's called. So hopefully it's better. Looks like this video is just hitting 40 minutes. So now 41. So I hope I didn't bore you guys. I hope I didn't upset anyone or offend anyone. If those of you out there who are also SSP, Secret Space Program experiencers, if any of you can corroborate any of this, and I'm going to come out and I guess maybe I'll make another video with more information, try to cover things. I'll try not to be redundant, but you know, this is a 41 minute video, and you know, I apologize in advance if I repeat things in other videos that I've said in this video. I just want to make sure I cover everything. Okay, guys. So, anyways, thank you for watching. Any of you that this helps, I'm happy to help you. So, if any of you hear about any of this information and this triggers memories of your own, feel free to message me or put a comment in the comment section. I hope this helps someone. Truly, this is why I'm coming out with this. It's not because I want to be looked at as some space fighter badass or whatever. You know, I just want to help somebody. I want to help somebody the way Rebecca Rose helped me. Rebecca, if you're watching this, again, I appreciate you because you really helped start me on this journey. I hope this video gets around in this community, and I hope, you know, maybe I'll be on someone else's show at some point on their channel. That would be a privilege. But anyways, I'm going to end the video now, and I hope you guys have a good day. Okay?